All right, WWE 2K25 preview. Let's get into it.
Final boss mode.
The final boss. Let's go.
Ever since its successful 2022 reinvention, 2K's popular WWE series has continually made a host of smart improvements in an attempt to not only build upon its winning formula, but to also justify its annual releases. WWE 2K25 certainly promises a new batch of iterations, including a brand new online interactive world called The Island, a revamp of its story, general manager and universe mode, a new hardcore match type called Bloodline Rules, and several more.
Yeah, we need
However,
that Bloodline
I
Rules.
can't say if all these new additions will elevate 2K25 above its predecessor because, unfortunately, I didn't get to sample any of them at the recent preview event.
Wait, you could do men versus women? Has that been a thing? I didn't feel like that.
Instead of sampling
I don't feel like that was
what I
before.
imagined to be this year's most significant alterations, my time with 2K25 was largely focused on the mostly unchanged core gameplay and this year's adjusted showcase mode, which focuses
I didn't
on
know
the
you could do men
Bloodline
versus
stable
women.
of wrestlers. But while I was locked out of most of this year's new ideas, I did appreciate some small but significant alterations. And they're enough that I'm confident that WWE 2K25 will be another successful evolution of the series and most likely worth any wrestling fan's time.
A superstar with every ingredient to be a megastar.
Yeah. Yeah.
WWE 2K25 Showcase
Hey,
Mode
nice.
focuses on the history of the Anoa'i family, headlined by its most recent stars Roman Reigns and the Bloodline.
What he be
But it
doing?
also celebrates previous
he be
generations
doing?
like the Wild Samoans, Yokozuna, and, most famously, The Rock. The
the
mode
other
now
way.
includes 3 types of matches. Ones where you recreate history, others where you create history, and most interestingly for me, matches where you alter history. I got to experience all 3 types in the shape of recreating Nia Jax's Queen of the Ring victory from 2024, creating a dream Wild Samoans versus the Dudley Boys match, and altering the history of the iconic Roman Reigns against Seth Rollins bout from the Royal Rumble in 2022. All 3 offered their own style of fun and unique perspective for any hardcore WWE fan. And
I like how over the years they smoothed out the gameplay. Like when you do certain chains, you could trigger a chain. Like if a guy's leaning on the rope, you see how you did right there with Seth and Roman. Like when they're leaning on the rope and they went straight into the fake clothesline, then into the spear. I like how you can, those sequences are set up. It makes the gameplay a lot smoother and more cinematic looking. I always love that.
it's an improvement on last year's Showcase mode. But that's not to say there aren't still some small issues.
The stomp, oh my
The
God.
Showcase mode in last year's WWE 2K24, much like the one in WWE 2K23 before it, was hampered by an over-reliance on switching to real-life footage that ran for multiple minutes at a
That
time.
power summon was
A
whack.
system that developer Visual Concepts dubbed Slingshot. As I pointed out in my preview for WWE 2K23, I found myself wanting to be back in the action and create these moments myself, not just watching clips of footage that are already burned into my brain. 2
feel
years
that.
later, I'm happy to confirm that although the issue is not completely solved, progress has been made. The cut to real-life footage is now gone, as is the over-reliance on taking you away from the action, at least as far as I experienced in the hands-on session. Key moments are now recreated in-engine through animation, providing a less jarring experience and a level of satisfaction from seeing iconic moments realized in the game's mostly gorgeous graphics. These sequences also seem significantly shorter, meaning less time away from controlling the action.
Whoa, that was interesting.
I dig that.
That's not to say that all my prior gripes with staying in control have been addressed though. During the conclusion of my Nia Jax match, rather than staying in the ring, I was forced to embody a bystander during the 1-2-3. Ideally, I'd like more control during these important moments. I want to relive them with my own gameplay decisions, not
I
merely
remember this.
observe as a
I thought
passive
she
bystander.
died. I was like, oh no, Lyra's dead. Like Nia crushed her, landed right on her.
Elsewhere, 2K25 makes
midsection.
minor improvements to other rough edges. Previous showcase modes relied heavily on a checklist system, requiring you to complete often rudimentary maneuvers to trigger the match's live action sequences. A common complaint is that this approach makes a match feel less like dynamic gameplay and more like a to-do list. This system is back, which no doubt will prove contentious once again, but it has been slightly refined for WWE 2K25, with the added optional objectives on a timer. You're rewarded for completing these actions with cosmetics, but most importantly, you're not punished for failing them as you were in previous entries.
Okay,
It's a
that
vital
makes sense.
baby step in the right direction.
That's
the
better.
standout addition to Showcase Mode, though, is without doubt the aforementioned ability to change the conclusion of certain
Superman
historic
punch.
matches. Where Roman Reigns once lost by disqualification
Spear.
to Seth Rollins, you can now experience how things could have played out should Roman have altered his temperament in the final moments. It's a fresh experience for hardcore fans of WWE, and I'm very excited to see what happens in the other unannounced change matches.
And Reigns breaks the hold here. Roman breaks the hold, and this match continues.
It just shows you how locked in Roman Reigns is to winning this match.
While there are notable changes in modes and match types, the core gameplay essence of WWE 2K25 is basically the same as before, with some minor tweaks. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I was already happy with the grappling action in 2K24, so I largely believe that it's a smart decision to stick with the proven, successful formula. There are, however, a few interesting additions and returns. WWE 2K25 sees the long-requested revival of chain wrestling, a gameplay sequence that was sacrificed with WWE 2K22's huge engine revamp. During the opening moments of a bout, instigating a grapple will now force players into a minigame that allows you to gain the upper hand. After locking up, you can choose to drive, wrench, attack, and ultimately reposition your opponent into a spot that's advantageous for you. Like the trading blows.
And I would assume like the ones you pick, like if you've seen like whatever you pick,
advantageous for you. Like the trading blows spot that's advantageous for you. Like you can choose to drive, wrench, attack, and ultimately reposition.
Like here, like this is probably stat based. This is probably stat based. Like depending on what type of attributes you have, it'll show what you're strong at, what your strong suits and shit like that. That's what I figure. That makes sense to me.
Your opponent into a spot that's advantageous for you. Like the trading blows mechanic introduced last year, chain wrestling adds another staple of WWE action, taking another vital step towards
we need
accurately
Fatu and
recreating
Roman.
what fans see on TV every
Jacob
week.
and Roman.
Also making a return is a submission system, a minigame in which you must either avoid or match your opponent's color block on a wheel. While it has an overwhelming UI presentation, it quickly becomes second nature, and I'm glad to see it return. But if you're less excited by its reappearance, it can fortunately be disabled in the options. The same goes for chain wrestling and other quick time event moments. They're all optional.
Trying to fight it. Anything to not give up.
Without a doubt, my favourite gameplay feature from WWE 2K24 also makes its triumphant return: throwing of weapons.
Oh yeah, I don't even know why they took that out. Like that was stupid.
Been improved, but the backstage brawls have now expanded into new environments that are perfect for weapons.
That's the
tossing.
NXT parking lot.
The best location I experienced in the demo was the WWE archives, which not only allow you to toss apples, footballs, and megaphones, but also drops you into a WWE fan's dream environment, littered with history and Easter eggs galore. Oh, and you can also fight on top of a giant WrestleMania sign and everyone's favourite giant fist from the SmackDown days of yore.
Ouch.
From the top.
Oh yeah, she's dead. She's dead.
As to be expected, much like in real life, the ring area is now covered in Prime sponsorship. Say what you will about that, but it does allow you to use the Prime hydration station.
Oh yeah, it's lit. Nah, it's up now.
For my money,
it's
wrapping
up
a
now.
bottle of Logan Paul's luminous juice around your opponent's head certainly feels like the best use of the egregious electrolytes.
It's up now.
Oh, and I also managed to find another worthwhile use of the giant Prime bottle.
That was a hell of a maneuver there, guys.
Ooh. Nah, that is funny. That's funny stuff.
Perhaps the most notable gameplay alteration this year, though, is the long overdue intergender gameplay. For the first time in a 2K WWE game, you're able to pit the men against the women in a match of your choosing. This, along with the largest roster ever, with 300 plus wrestlers to choose from, finally opens the door to a whole host of matchups that previously weren't available. Lastly, although the demo build featured a limited amount of new updates to explore, I did get some hands-on time with the brand new match type called Underground. It's a ropeless variation of an exhibition match that puts you in a Fight Club-like setting with lumberjacks around the ring. This is something that's completely brand new for the series and something I can share more about later this week as part of our exclusive IGN First content.
Now, my question would be, as far as the lifting goes, like, do the women's stats scale to the men's stats? Like, obviously a woman like Bianca Belair or Rhea Ripley can lift up a man. but could they lift up? Could you lift up a Roman Reigns? Like, you know, I mean, we seen her scoop slam Big Luke Gallows, but I wonder if the abilities will scale. Like, I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to find out.
Is an underground match.
WWE 2K25 continues the recent tradition of the series, layering new features on top of existing and robust fundamentals. Nothing right now feels particularly revolutionary, as the formula feels largely consistent with last year's offering, just with some small but smart tweaks. Time will tell if the advertised big sweeping changes and new modes that I didn't get to see will truly make
The
this
island,
edition stand
aka
out
the
from
my
its
park.
peers. But from my brief experience, it's
The
hard
island
to
of
say that
relevancy.
this is anything but a very incremental step for an already well-realized series.
Avalanche, Riptide. Like, could she
And if
really
you're
do that to
interested in
Dom? I don't
finding
know.
out more about WWE 2K25, be sure to stick with IGN all this month for our IGN First Look coverage, and in the meantime, be sure to check out the full entrance video for this year's Royal Rumble winner, main event, Jey Uso.
Jey Uso. But yeah, that's my question. Like, that's my only question from this. Like, as far as the intergender matches, we know stronger women like a Nia Jax, like a Rhea Ripley, like a Bianca Belair, even like a Charlotte Flair, who's shown some strength feats. Would they be able to lift up all the men, or do it? Will it? They'll probably, you know what? They'll probably just scale it exactly like how they do the men.
A few
Like,
interesting additions.
Obviously,
and returns.
even if Rey Mysterio has a slamming move or a slamming finisher, or like, let's say Penta not going to be able to hit the Penta driver on everybody because he's not listed as a heavyweight. Like, if you're a light heavyweight, you can't lift up a heavyweight like that. Like, it'll turn into a striking variation. Like, when you're creating the move set, it usually turns into some sort of striking variation. So I wonder if that's how they're going to do it with the women. Like, I don't think without assistance, Rhea is going to be doing a riptide to Roman Reigns, that, or Brock Lesnar or something like that. You see what I'm getting at? Or a Big Show. Definitely not a Big Show. You know, she could probably lift up a Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a little smaller. Definitely a Tozawa. We seen Rhea Ripley go beat Tozawa 1-on-1. I just want to see how that will work. I just want to be interested in how that's going to work. That's my only questions for the game, but it looks dope. I haven't really been playing much of 24 because of some of the features that got removed, and I just haven't been having time. Last year was a crazy grind with the streams, and I was just trying to keep up with the new games. But this year I'm gonna do it a little bit different. Like, I'm still gonna play the new games, but I'm also play and stream games that I want to play. You know, like, and things of that nature. Like, I should be streaming later today. I'm gonna start streaming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Just 3 hours. I'm not doing those long ass marathon streams anymore, unless I have like a crazy audience in chat and we just keep it going past the 3 hours. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. This game looks like it's gonna be dope. It looks like it took some things that gamers that we wanted, that they took out before, then they put it back in, and they're just reiterating on an already successful system. So we'll see. All right. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments, right? So you already know the vibes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It's your boy JusticeXFalls, and we out. One.